Alright, so as y'all can see, I got it up right here. I mean, you probably talking some real shit, bro. Storm could really use some fixing, bro. So, I'm not gonna lie, let's go ahead and get into it. Excuse
Meta,
my hair, please. I
a
know
very
it's not
popular
regular.
topic in competitive gaming. It helps players determine
Do you all want the captions on?
how they can achieve wins in the most optimal way. By definition, in essence, a meta in gaming terminology is a generally agreed upon strategy by the community. Said strategy is considered to be the most optimal way to win / has the best performance at a specific task. Some people have defined meta as an acronym meaning most effective tactics available. Now, although everything I'm going to be talking about in this video can be universally seen for a lot of games, I'm mainly going to be talking about Naruto Storm Connections. Now, the current meta in Storm Connections is that supports pretty much carry you in your way to victory. I think we can all agree on that. The supports that are currently
That is facts, chat. He's not lying.
powerful as of me making this video is Tamari, Shikamaru, and the PTS version of him too, Karin, and DMS Kakashi. These 4 supports are the main reason as to why a lot of players are winning their matches online.
Chat, he's not lying. Tamari's insane, Shikamaru's really good. Kakashi's good that Kamui. But Karin, the poison is very annoying. But I also think that they need to nerf some other characters too. He's probably just mentioned a few brief ones, but I mean honestly, if people really wanted to, I can make like a full in-depth video on some of the characters that really need it, honestly. Because there are a couple more that are just squeaking by that line.
You can choose pretty much any point character, and no matter who you play, these characters can definitely increase your chances of winning by tenfold. There is another niche form of meta which involves using Kaguya as your point character and then using the ice stage that she has and spamming chakra dashes. This is
I played against something similar. It's very annoying.
Winning in the game. I'm going to be basically referencing the supports because that is what we see in our usual day-to-day life of playing Connections.
Really well made video, chat.
Now, my thoughts on meta is that it's always something I've actually tried to avoid when it comes to Connections. Not even just Connections, actually it's just Storm in general. I always found the meta to be very boring because it usually consisted of characters that I never really had an attachment to or characters that I just didn't really enjoy. Before I actually played the Naruto Storm games, I was a massive avid viewer of the Naruto anime. Growing up with Naruto in my child and teen years, the Naruto anime was a very big part of my life, so I've grown attached to quite a good few characters. Now, typically, by my luck, my favorite characters obviously aren't the strongest, and that's okay. But with hard work and dedication and understanding of game mechanics, I did manage to make my Ino pretty strong. But I simply just avoided playing the meta because I was simply bored of the characters that are usually involved. It's usually involving like the most latest version of Sasuke that there is out there, a very typical edgy character that I'm getting kind of bored of seeing. But even in a game like Storm 4, the meta consisted of characters that I just wasn't really interested in, like PTS Gaara and Danzo. I don't really play those characters, nor do I have much of a care for them. And that's the thing with meta, is I'm aware that many players would desperately pick these very good characters in order to win. Now, they're entitled to, there's nothing wrong with that. The whole point of actually playing the game is to win the battles that you partake in, right? But this is when lots of different ideologies come into play. You know, sense of honor, sense of dignity, or a sense of one's ideals when it goes into battle. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind playing the meta sometimes in other games. And this is the thing with Storm Connections, it doesn't really feel like a lot of skill just having to press L1 or R1 to summon your support for them to do a bunch of hits, waste your opponent's subs, and to create an opening or create space for you. You could literally just stand still while Tamari does a whole dance and just does the work for you, really.
He's not lying, that is fact.
For those of you out there that are watching this video and that play meta every single day and you are basically obsessed with the meta, and the meta of Storm Connections is all you think about and you have to be up to date with it at all times, that's absolutely fine. I'm not even bashing the people in this video. Actually, I do have an example of a meta player in this video, which I'm going to be showing a short interview of via text. Hopefully we can come to an understanding on why meta is played, and those of you that watch my videos that hate meta to its bone can maybe have some more understanding towards it also. Everybody's entitled to play the game how they want as long as it's not hacking or extremely game breaking. But using meta characters is okay, it's just some of us don't really like it and quite bored of it, and that's understandable. I'll willingly play characters that aren't meta against the meta, and I won't be surprised if I lose. Yeah, I'll complain that Tamari is taking too many of my subs, or that Shikamaru is getting in the way, or DMS Kakashi opened me up when I didn't really want to be opened up, but hey, that's Storm, right? But generally, it seems that meta is always just a shortcut to get the win. You're finding the quickest, most easiest route possible, basically a shortcut to win in the game. Now, I said this to a meta player, and this was his response. He actually agreed with me on my stance about that, which had me intrigued, which then led to more questions. For shortcuts to win by playing meta, that is me asking the question, his response is simply that everyone does it. And then when I lose and I play meta, there is no excuse. Now this is actually a very understandable response, and I actually appreciate the honesty behind
That's fair, chat. I've done that too before.
To actually taking shortcuts to get a win, and he admitted that if he joins the fire of fighting fire with fire, if he loses, he literally has no excuses left. For a player like myself, one could say that, oh, I always have the excuse that they were using better characters than me. I usually try not to run to that excuse because I go into fights willingly knowing that somebody will pick someone better than me. But he's right. Meta players have a sense of their own dignity and a sense of their own morals too. They'll pick it and they won't complain, even if they know that they lose to the same thing. They have no reason to. If you're all picking the same thing, but you're the one that loses, it clearly shows the difference in skill, knowledge, and gameplay between the two players. Now, the matches that you're seeing in this video is between me and this player. Now, just for the player's confidentiality, I've actually got his name censored, so you won't entirely see who this player is, just in case some of you out there want to attack him for playing meta or whatever. The whole point of this video is to make sure that everybody is at least educated on meta in Storm Connections. Now, I always have my varying opinions on meta players, but one thing's for certain, they are not stupid, and they are very willing to adapt just like the rest of us do. Even during this fight here, you can see that I actually tried my usual Ino reset, and after the match, he reminded me, yeah, I watch your streams, I know that reset. Of course, silly me. And that's the very admirable thing about meta players. They are always looking for improvement. The player that I'm actually featuring in this video, I actually think he's a very honest, very smart guy. He has a lot of work to do with his gameplay. Obviously, the fact that he uses shortcuts, I actually find it hinders him. And that leads me on to my next point. Those that are actually relatively new to the game or is learning Storm and you're looking at picking up the meta in order to get your wins, although against some players it will get you the wins quite easily, once you do start climbing up the ranks, your work will get cut out for you. And your lack of fundamental skills will begin to show, and older players or more experienced players will take advantage of that. The meta
Facts, hold on. Everything he said right there is 100% true. There have been times where I've gotten certain guys and I'm just like, I'm playing them, and I mean, it's a playstyle, everyone plays everything to win, he's right, but I mean, it's to a point where they're kind of just spamming. It's like they're stuck in a time when Storm Connections, you could wake up Chidori because it had armor and stun and everything, it was just broken, take subs, all of that. But now it's like, now since certain ones you can cut out, it's like when you play against them, they're just stuck in the oh wait, or when they try and play the meta, if you're okay-ish or nicer at the game, I mean, you can play against it. I feel like too, also, that's a great point. I don't think that you should depend on the meta. I've labbed everyone. A lot of these characters are fun, way more fun than the meta. I feel like you should play kind of everyone, even Aruka, who he was playing right here. It's pretty fun.
Show,
right
and
here.
older players or more experienced players will take advantage of that. The meta can only carry you so far. Your fundamental knowledge can take you even further.
Facts.
But if you lack the fundamental knowledge, you will get destroyed. This is why
Facts.
those at the very high ranks actually have very good fundamental understanding of the game, as well as good use of their meta supports. And this is the respectable thing about this guy. Although he was struggling against me, he is still looking at ways to adapt. He is wise to my Eno gameplay, and he knows certain tricks I'm gonna pull as I'm pulling it, and he has the right answers for them. So now that we've discussed what the meta is, why people play the meta, and the meta relevance in Storm Connection, how would you actually go about changing the meta? Obviously, there's a large portion of us in the Storm community that actually am quite annoyed at the meta.
Chat, this is a really good video, honestly.
I'm bored of seeing the same supports on every team build and going up against the same jutsus all the time. Well, the answer to that is actually pretty simple. CC2 just needs to do some balance changes. When it comes to things like meta, the only thing that changes in metas over the years in games is when things get buffed and nerfed. We simply just need to show CC2 and Bandai how overpowered Shikamaru, Tamari, Karin, and DMS Kakashi are in their support stages. And the best way I can think of nerfing these characters is simply just by making their cooldowns much longer. Tamari and Shikamaru, I can say for definite, are on quite short cooldowns right now, but I don't think it would hurt to make the cooldowns a bit longer. So hopefully CC2 will be offering out more surveys for us to fill out in terms of balance patches. If not, I'll have to basically keep talking about in videos and hopefully contacting Bandai about them doing balance patches. I also do think Kaguya does need a nerf in her her ice stage is very overbearing. I'm just not really sure on how to go about a nerf like that. Despite everything said in this video, meta is a very interesting key.
Now, chat, about what he said, he said the other ones. Nah, I'm a little confused. I think I might know how, but he said DMS Kakashi. Now, I played against a couple more. Now, if that's just what he's talking about, I understand. But when I play against him, I mean, it's not like it's super more difficult or like anything like that. I think I've played against maybe a more annoying matchup. But on the same time, I've used that support also, and it has helped me. But I feel like when I'm playing against people who had good fundamentals and use of their assist, so I believe that like Kakuzu, someone who does somewhat of the same thing, Kakashi has infinite range, and so paired with the great assist, it can always be a hit, or you damn near have to waste a sub or two. So I can understand that too. That can be broken. Yeah, they do need to fix that if that's the case. But if it's another reason, let me know if it's just something different, because that's really the only thing I could think of myself.
It will always be prevalent in any game that you play, especially Naruto Storm Connections. After this video has come out and there might be another balance patch, or when there are future balance patches that come to Storm Connections, I'm pretty sure the meta will change to other things. But I guess what we're looking for is maybe a meta that has so much diversity, you probably wouldn't even be able to call it a meta. You could use so many iterations of characters, team builds, and a variety of supports that there could be a chance that there might not be a set meta. Yeah, there will always be that statistical probability of, yes, these select characters are the reasons that you can win more often than using anybody else, but to give other characters a fighting chance would be great.
Yeah, a lot of characters
got
need
recently is absolutely incredible, and Jugo seems like such a great viable character to use now. It's actually crazy. And who would imagine Jugo being actually viable in a Storm game?
And Chad, something about this, I'm sorry for pausing if this is annoying you, but this Jugo right here, to be honest, a lot of people don't know, but chat, he's been good ever since almost Storm Connections came out. He's always been, he's just been climbing the ranks slowly and slowly and slowly. I remember when he was like a tier assist, like mid to high tier A when the game first came out, and I was playing with my friend Chris Chops. Y'all see me play with him all the time, Siege Storm, all of that. But I was playing it with him, and he was using Jugo. I'm like, yo, he's crazy, and now he's even crazier. Apparently, he received a buff. But yeah, a lot of characters in this game I feel like are gag characters too, and they could use like for revamps. Like,
when was he ever? But to have a Storm game where the meta is more of a diverse selection, where you can actually pick your favorite character,
little fun fact check,
character you have no idea about, and that you're picking them purely just because they get you the win, would be much more of a great scenario. Picking your favorite characters, many of them feels so good. Trust me, I've been doing it for years. It's just a case of Bandai and CC2 actually just taking the time to acknowledge this and then changing it when they're putting the game into further development. I've actually contacted Bandai about the issues with the online in this game, so I'd like to think that Bandai and CC2 are still looking at the game and still will be applying fixes. The Boroshuki DLC is set to come out probably in September, so I'd like to think we'll get another balance patch by then, and hopefully we'll see some nerfs to those pesky support characters. I think overall,
Boroshuki is coming out too
September. If there was a diverse range of characters to choose from, rather than just a very few amount of good characters, and then seeing that repeated all the time in ranked and in tournaments, and even in your custom matches too. There's many EU players who actually style their way to victory. I mean, that's an uphill battle in itself. Now, styling is a very interesting feature in this game.
Yeah, Che, you're not lying. I be trying to style just a tad bit.
Now, I made a whole documentary on styling back in Storm 4. If you want to check that out, I'll actually post the video.
I got my own
here
finesse
in the corner, so you can go ahead and check that out if you haven't seen it already. It's a very good documentary. As always, this will be the end for today's video and my discussion on meta. Let me know your opinions on meta down in the comment section below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. I'm making a lot more content.
He said he got some gameplay, but maybe it was the clips he saw while he was talking.
As always, it's been your boy Poison Okami. Jane.
Jane, what does that mean, chat? Alright, so that was Poison Okami's why you play the meta in Naruto Storm Connections. He made sure to say y'all don't. He said he don't. I respect it. I try to also not play the meta as often, but there have been times where I've just played it even for just fun, my own experiments and purpose, or just genuinely enjoying something. But everything he said in his video, I agree with 100%. Really, honestly, they do need to really fix this meta. And we need a really crazy diverse meta with all these characters. There are no reasons why some characters shouldn't have been updated since previous storms for years now. Honestly, it makes no sense. But like I said, I agree with everything he said. Great video once again by Poison Okami. Of course, I liked it and subscribe. Make sure to go show some support. I'll drop the link to this in the description to his channel. And yeah, yo, I mean, drop me down in the comments below. Like, let me know, what do you guys think? Drop it down below in the comments. What do you guys think of the Meta and Storm connections? Honestly, like, do you think it's to a point where we do really only see the same four, or do you feel like maybe no, we're always going to see that no matter what the meta changes to? I mean, go ahead and let me know. And let me know what supports you've been going against in matches too.